Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and we are taking a look today at the Colorado Avalanche, the defending Stanley Cup champions. What did they do this offseason? They didn't do too much, right? They obviously lost some guys. Andrei Burakovsky goes to the West Coast, going to the Seattle Kraken. Nazem Kadri, at the making of this video, still to be determined. We don't know what's going to happen there. Darcy Kuemper leaves to the Washington Capitals. So who stayed? They were able to keep some guys that were maybe on their way out. We're going to take a look at that today and what that means for the team going into next season. So the Colorado Avalanche re-signed Darren Helm to a one-year contract, $1.25 million on that deal. It's a good contract. Darren Helm, it's a 35-plus contract. He's 35 years old at the signing of the deal. Darren Helm has been in the NHL for a long time. He played in a critical part at times during the Red Wings' run of success with Mike Babcock and Nick Lidstrom and Pavel Datsyuk and Henrik Zetterberg. He's been around the block. So Darren Helm able to pick up another cup, and he's probably thinking, I have a little bit of cup fever. He probably wants to come back, try and win a Stanley Cup again. Can't really blame him for that. So there's a really good pickup for them to keep him around. Good job there by the Avalanche. Again, just some depth. They also bring back Josh Manson. Now, Manson was a little bit of a wild card. If I had a gun to my head, I would have said Josh Manson to the Anaheim Ducks, and I would have got shot. Josh Manson sticks around in Colorado. Looks like he decided between the Ducks and the Avalanche. He really liked Anaheim. He ends up staying with the Avalanche. They had the cap space. They were able to get things done. $4.5 million per season on that deal. A pretty lucrative contract there for Manson. He was very good for them in the playoffs. It's a 4-year deal, $4.5 per year. He's a tough guy. You know, he was tough to play against for Tampa. Tampa did not like him in the Stanley Cup final. And for that matter, all the teams in the Western Conference before that didn't like Josh Manson. He's one of those guys that helps you in the playoffs, and we're seeing how valuable these guys are. You look at right now in Tampa, they just re-signed Eric Chernak for a little bit more, $5.2 million on an 8-year deal. Like, these guys are worth something. And I think that when you have them, you don't want to trade them, because the second you lose a guy like Manson, you're immediately looking for his replacement. Joe Sakic's been looking for that guy for a while, right? That's why he brought in Curtis McDermott a couple years ago, thinking he could be that kind of guy. Josh Manson was the real answer to that. So great pickup for them. And the bigger one of the day was Arturri Lehkonen. The Colorado Avalanche have been high on Arturri Lehkonen for a very long time. Joe Sakic wanted Arturri Lehkonen, like, since last year. Right, at the end of 2021. That is how long Joe Sakic has been trying to pry this kid away from Montreal. He was finally able to get it done on trade deadline day. It came at the price they didn't want, right? They had to trade, what's his name, Travis Baron or Morgan Baron, that really good defenseman. They had to give him up in the deal, but they got their guy. Arturri Lehkonen then signs a massive extension here, 5-year deal, $4.5 million per season. Lehkonen is one of those guys that he will score you the big goals. He scored the cup clinching goal for the Avalanche. He is just, what Lehkonen brings, some people kind of overlook, and maybe they did a little bit in Montreal. Not the case in Colorado. He now has a cup to his name. He's really good friends with Mikko Rantanen, who is now his teammate. Really good pickup for the Avalanche. And this guy, talking about a guy comparable to Tampa's, Andre Palat. And I think that's high praise here for Lehkonen, but very similar in that sense. He scores the big goals, a lot like Marian Hossa in his prime in Chicago. Very similar, right? He's not the star player of your team, but people buy his jersey if they know what he brings to the table. And Lehkonen is one of those guys. Really key glue piece to that team. And one that the Avalanche, I'm sure Joe Sakic is thrilled he doesn't have to worry about him this summer. For the rest of the Avalanche, listen, we're getting ready for the big UFA day of Nathan MacKinnon next year. And hopefully the Avalanche grind one out here before the season, because all season, all they're going to talk about is where's Nathan MacKinnon going? Where's his contract? What does he want on his next contract? Does he want an 8-year deal? Why hasn't he signed a contract yet? Joe Sakic, or whoever the new GM is. Who's the new GM? I have to be politically correct here. Chris McFarland. When are you signing that contract? When are you inking Nathan MacKinnon? Because that is going to be big for the Avalanche. They have to figure out a way to get him in. I'm going to assume he's going to probably get $10 million on that deal. I'm going to say right now, a year from his expected free agency date, $10 million. And I think that's even low. He might even get 11. Like, he's that good, guys. Listen, I mean, I'm not saying that just to say that. He's that good. And the Avalanche will find any way possible next summer if they have to. In order to keep him, they will find a way. Whoever has to move out. Now, you also have to remember, Erik Johnson's $6 million comes off the books next year. So that is a huge helper for them going into next year with potentially signing MacKinnon. So they're already halfway to that dollar amount with Erik Johnson's contract coming off. With that said, the Avalanche overall, kind of interesting. They bring in Georgiev. We already talked about that. And we're going to see more of the young guys. This is the year of the young guys in Colorado, right? You've got some of their defensive prospects, Josh Jacobs, Keaton Middleton, Jacob McDonald. They're a little bit older. I'm sure you guys will let me know, but they're in the system. Jonas Johansson, the goaltender. Mikhail Maltsev, they picked up from Jersey last year. Maybe he stays. Shane Bowers, what's the latest on his development? Is he an NHL player? And obviously the guys that are already in the lineup that we always mention. We're talking about guys like Bowen Byram. Cale Makar, probably going to get even better than he already is, as crazy as that sounds. And then looking at their forward group, you've got like Lou Faudet, Martin Kaut. I was a former first or second round pick, a highly regarded prospect at the time. So the Avalanche have guys here, and you know what? Don't look now. Might as well send a little fruit basket to a guy in Nashville right now, Matt Duchene. Pretty interesting how that's all turned out, right? Because he built this Colorado Avalanche team. But, guys, that's it for today. Let me know what you think of these signings. What do you think of the Lehkonen signing? What do you think of the other signings on the Avalanche? Their new goalie? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.